For the last few months, I've been coming down to the floor to recognize someone in my state who, through acts both small and large, have made the state better for all of us. I call this person our Alaskan of the Week. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk a little bit about baseball as part of the Alaskan of the Week. And you know, we saw how important baseball is with regard to a sport that can bring Americans together. Just last week, I think people all across the country, certainly in D.C., certainly here in the Senate, saw how important that. We had that great game, Democrats and Republicans last week coming together. I'm a little biased here that the Republican team with Senator Flake and Senator Rand, we didn't win, but it was a good game. And I know we're all still praying for those injured last week, Congressman Scalise and others. But it's important to see how that great American pastime brings us together as a nation. And there's many great things about my wonderful state. But in Alaska, baseball also brings us together. So I'd like to recognize today one of the many people throughout the state that keep the special institution of baseball alive in Alaska. And this gentleman's name is Lee Jordan. He's from Eagle River. Now, Madam President, I would venture to guess that most people, when they think of Alaska, think about our spectacular mountains and glaciers. They might think about fishing, our delicious salmon, thousands of miles of state and federal parks, our vast wilderness. But baseball probably isn't the first thing to come to many people's mind when they think about Alaska. But actually, those who follow baseball understand how important Alaska summers are to taking young college students with raw talent and growing them under the midnight sun into seasoned professional baseball players. This is the Alaska Baseball League. And it is one of the premier baseball leagues in the summer in the United States. Let me just give you a few names of those who have come up through the Alaska Baseball League. It's produced some of the most important major league stars, including Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Tom Seaver, Dave Winfield, and Randy Johnson, just to name a few. I think those are all Hall of Famers. Alaska's six-team league includes 2 teams in Anchorage, 1 in Fairbanks, 1 in Palmer, 1 in the Kenai, and thanks to the unrelenting enthusiasm of Lee Jordan, 1 in Eagle River, Chugach, Alaska, a picturesque area about 20 minutes from Anchorage, nestled in the Chugach Mountains. It's part of Anchorage, but it's also very much its own place, with a sense of pride and people who live there like Lee. Let me tell you a little bit about Lee Jordan, Madam President. Lee was originally from Alabama, where football, not baseball, was king. When he enlisted in the Army in 1947, his choice of overseas assignments was, according to him, anything but Alaska, any place but Alaska. But he got Alaska. And he stayed, and he loved it. And he settled in Eagle River, Chugach. Before long, he owned a local newspaper, the Alaska Star, now the Chugach Eagle River Star, and he was coaching his son's Little League's baseball team. When that got too old for Little League, he began to form new leagues for them to play in, when his boys did. Eventually, his sons got too old for all the leagues, but Lee kept up the love of the game. Then he and former state Senator Bill Stoltz, a good friend of mine and another huge booster of baseball in Alaska, hatched a plan to get a team to their area as part of the Alaska Baseball League. And so the first Eagle River Chugach-Chinook game was in 2011, and it's now called the Lee Jordan Field in Loretta French Sports Complex, and they've been going strong ever since. Madam President, this is such a beautiful place. And right now, in Alaska, every year we have a midnight sun baseball game in Fairbanks, played on June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. That game begins at 10:30 p.m. and goes until the wee hours of the morning under a never-setting midnight sun. But there are a few more beautiful places in the world than Eagle River, Chugiak. Lee Jordan thinks the ballpark is the most beautiful ballpark anywhere, and I can't disagree. So, Madam President, as I've mentioned many times on the floor, it's all about communities. It's all about communities coming together, and Lee has made that happen for Alaskans and baseball lovers, not only in our great state, but throughout the country. And for that reason, he is our Alaskan of the Week. I yield the floor.